Welcome to the Jet Set Hers podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Jamie. We discuss travel, adventure, and everyday life. Listen with us and let's go somewhere.
So Jamie, guess what?
What?
Guess where I have to go now?
I have one guess. Is it maybe Brussels?
Absolutely. And just Belgium in general.
I think I would agree. Add it to the list.
Diana came on today. She lives in Brussels, but she's a fellow traveler. She's been to over 48 countries. I mean, she was just an absolute sweetheart.
After this episode, I'm sure you guys will have Brussels on your list to go next as well. After hanging out with Diana today, we learned a lot more than we ever thought we would, and we can't wait to go. We hope you guys enjoy.
Enjoy! Hi, just really excited to introduce our guest today, Diana, a fellow travel lover, and she lives in Brussels, Belgium.
Hi, Jenny and Jamie. It's a pleasure being with you today. Thanks for your invite.
Yeah, we're really excited. And I actually didn't really know anything about Brussels until I started researching for this, so I'm excited to learn a little bit more and talk about it, talk about some travel.
Yeah, no, it's really a very small country from Europe, but it has a lot to offer, and it's really nice when you dig in a little bit, research and when you figure it out, and it's worthwhile visiting it. Absolutely.
I definitely want to visit it now. And everyone can't see me at the moment, but I have a background, which is one of the palaces in Brussels, and it's really gorgeous. And now I really want to just be standing over there.
Yeah, no, it's really a shame that no one sees it, but I have the pleasure to see it. So if I'm allowed, I would like to say something about it.
Yes.
Because that's really an amazing opportunity to see. So every 2 years in August, there's I think it's only 3 to 5 days. It depends on the weather. So they have the Grand Place. It's the big marketplace. It's so gorgeous from the buildings. I mean, really, you can come any time of the year. And they have renovated the whole buildings, but it's just magnificent to stand there and observe this beautiful marketplace. So it calls Grand Place. And then in August, for 3 to 5 days, they make, by a designer, they make a flower carpet. So that's what I see now behind Jenny.
Yes.
And it takes them days, I mean, months to design it. And it's so in detail, and it's just gorgeous. Yes, it's incredible. Yeah.
I can only imagine how long that would take, because he probably pretty much has to come place it almost flower by flower to get that design so perfect.
I think they use those small flower pots, so it looks like, but when you look close, it's a flower pot or maybe something similar.
Right.
And they have to be fast. So they have to be really fast, and then in case it's really hot, it can die in a few days. Yeah, or when it's rainy. Yeah, but they do it, and I don't know how, but they do it incredible.
And it's worth it because it's gorgeous.
Yes.
I didn't realize that's what that was in the background was flowers. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I think that's really something very, very unique. I've never seen it before. Maybe there is others in the world, but I never seen it before. And it really reflects the city too, because Brussels is one of the greenest, or is the greenest city in whole Europe. Yeah.
Wow.
So many parks, beautiful parks, and a gigantic forest around. So on the east side of Brussels, an amazing forest, really. I mean, that's where I spend my time. Huh? It's, yeah. So I think it's really nice that they reflect this, the flowers and the parks. Yeah.
Wow.
Cute.
So I know that you're drinking some water over there, but I wanted to tell you what I'm drinking. So I purposely went out to buy something that would be fitting for today's episode. So I'm drinking Delirium Tremens, which is made in Belgium.
Yes, look at you. So do you like it?
So I actually have a glass with the little pink elephants on it. I've had this glass for a while. I do. I don't love it as much as I used to. This used to be a go-to beer when I lived in Florida. It's a little too strong tasting, I think, for what I'm used to right now, but it's still a good beer.
Well, in Belgium, they have, I think, the strongest beers, or one of the strongest. So it's, I mean, I come from Germany, and yeah, we love beer too, but it's less strong. And here you can, sometimes it goes up to 8, 9, 10%.
Hmm.
The variety here is, I mean, they have over 1,200 different beer types. So it means you can drink in 4 years every day a different one. And it's so funny that you mentioned it, or that you have the perfect glass to it, because they really produce to every, do you say brand? No, it's not a brand. To every beer, they have their own glass.
Yes.
Yeah, like every style.
So when you go out in a bar, so you ask for a Duvel, then you get a Duvel glass. You ask for a Jupiler, you get a Jupiler glass. So it's never ever the same glass, except for the same beer. Yeah.
I love that, but I have this addiction to buying glasses, like different beer glasses, and so I would probably end up coming home with an extra suitcase of just glassware.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
in the
think
same way.
While we're on the subject, Jamie, what are you drinking?
I actually have a local to Michigan beer per usual, but it is Old Nation Brewing Boss Tweed Double IPA. 9.3%, pretty strong, pretty flavorful. Gonna have to take it slow, but Boss Tweed.
I actually saw that at the store today, which is pretty crazy. Um, and
Yeah.
it's also crazy because I used to think Delirium Tremens was the strongest beer. It's only 8.5. So yours is stronger than mine today.
Yeah, I've had they have M43 is a good beer by Old Nation. And this is I think only the second time I've tried something else by them. And it's pretty flavorful and it's pretty hazy. So right up our alley.
Yeah, yum. Well, cheers.
Cheers, ladies.
cheers.
So tell us about yourself. Tell us about some of your like history with travel and moving around.
Yeah, as I said before, I'm Germany, due to the work of my ex-husband. So we moved first to the to the United States, and then yeah, I lived there too.
Oh, wow.
In Rochester, New York
Where
State.
did you live here?
Yeah, so it was really amazing time,
Okay.
and I still have my friends from 20 years ago. Yeah, really, we have really good bonding. And then we moved to Paris, to France, and then we ended up here in Brussels. And within the country, we really moved a lot too. Yeah, and we both, the family, we really just love to travel. You know, it's just in our blood. So I know that I have the privilege that I have seen already 48 countries. So for me, I say, oh, only, but it's, yeah, it's, I'm just thirsty of learning more about cultures, different countries, about, I mean, I really like to talk to locals if I can, you know, to meet them and figure out how they function, how, you know, what they like. And it's not like that I travel and I sit in a nice resort, which is nice too, but in general, like really to discover the country, the
Right.
culture, and as I said before. And last year, thanks to COVID, I really discovered more Belgium because we were not allowed to travel, still not.
Right.
I mean, now they open up a little bit, but
So where in Germany are you from?
from Stuttgart, it's southwest.
Okay.
It's very well known for Mercedes and for Porsche. So the cars. Yeah, it's a really beautiful area.
I really
Yeah.
want to go to Germany. I just want to see castles and drink some beer. Those are my two.
Yeah, to go to the beer garden.
Yes.
No, it's really nice. I mean, Germany has a lot to offer. There's such a diversity in landscape, you know, from north to south, west and east. It's so diverse. It's really good. And the food is amazing. The beer garden.
I feel like it's right up my
Yeah.
alley. But so is Brussels from what I've been reading too. How long have you been in Brussels?
Yeah, now quite long, since 2007. And
Okay.
yeah, it's long. So I'm the point I really wanted to move in because I just want to on the other hand, I really feel comfortable here. It's so international, so especially Brussels, because it's the European Commission here, the NATO. It calls the capital of Europe. So it's super, super international. So when you go out, you meet just, I mean, so many different nationalities. And it's really a nice vibe. And the city is big, but not too large. So, you know, it gives you kind of a coziness, but not too small. So
Right.
that's a really nice.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah. And then since I'm here, I moved 5 times, so in different areas. And where I live now, I'm super, super happy. So it's just at the edge to the park and to the forest. And in front of my house, there are 3 tram stations. So I can take the tram, go into really the center of Brussels. Even I live in Brussels. Or I can walk or bike. So it's really, I barely use my car anymore. So it's really nice.
Perfect.
And from my place, I see sunsets. You would not believe that I'm in Brussels. Really
Wow.
outstanding. Yeah, that's
So you
really
really
nice.
have the best of all of it. You can get to the city, but you kind of don't feel like you're in the city.
Really, I mean, for me, I really need a city, so I cannot. I mean, I lived so many years in the countryside, but I'm just tired of it, you know. So my kids are grown up, and I just want to enjoy life and want to go out. But I also need the nature. So I'm I'm really I have a place here, so where I am. Yeah, it's really nice.
And I feel like you're in a perfect location for travel because you can really get in a lot of places very easily.
Yes. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. Like when I moved to Brussels and I said to my friends, oh, I go today to Germany or I go to the Netherlands. And I said, what are you doing? You know? And I said, but everything is 1.5 hours away, you know, like in 1.5 hours, I'm in Germany. In 2 hours, I'm in Luxembourg. France to the border, it's an hour. I mean, to Paris by train, it's 1.5 hour. By car, maybe 3 hours. It depends on the traffic, of course. But Amsterdam, it's 2 hours. To London by train, it's I think it's 1.5 or 2 hours. No, I think it's one and
Wow.
a half hours. I mean, if you want and you organize yourself a little bit, you know, then it's easy peasy, yeah. And then
Right?
to the beach. It's not the most beautiful beach, but there are some
It's
nice
still a beach,
beaches.
right?
A beach is a beach. Yes. By train, what I did the other day, it's 1.5 hour too. Huh? I mean, you can take the car, but then you have the risk with the traffic. So the traffic can be very heavy, especially when you come back. So I really find it quite nice to take the train and go to the beach. So
If I had the
you only need.
option, I would take the train too, because you could read a book, you can listen to something, like you don't have to be like focused on the road. You can like be productive with your time.
And that's cutting your
Yeah,
traveling time down in half. So that's
True.
big difference.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's nice. Like the other day, I took a train with my friend, and then, yeah, you know, then we had coffee and then we can talk. And even then you arrive and like the parking, you have to pay so much money for parking. I mean, for this money, I can buy me a train ticket, you know. And
Wow.
there's no, I mean, yes, it depends, you know, but a train ticket, it's sometimes you can have it for 20 euros to go to the coast. And when I think about my car, then you need petrol, you know, gas, and you know, and it takes time and everything, and parking. I think at the end, it's a good win-win situation to go by train.
Yeah.
I agree. What all languages do you speak?
Well, German,
Yes.
English. Yes, I try to speak French and Dutch, but yeah, I'm not the most skilled language person. Like here in Belgium, I really admire those people here. I mean, they grew up with 3 languages,
Right.
sometimes even 4. And they just switch, you know, like there's nothing, you know, okay, that's okay, French or Dutch or English, sometimes even German. So German it's an official language here. It's the smallest part here. It's German. Yeah, I'm not Belgium skilled, but I try a little bit.
I'm always in awe of anyone that's even just bilingual. I think it's an amazing skill to have.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I was just wondering because, like, I know you said you lived in Paris for a little while, so I was just curious.
Yeah, but there it was really the problem. Like in school, I had the opportunity to learn French, and I said at this time, who needs French? If you would tell me at this time, one day you will live for many years in a French-speaking country, I would be maybe smarter at this time. But I said no, I will choose something different. So when we moved, I really started from scratch, and I was over 30 years, and I was bringing my kids to school back and forward. So I was 3 hours in the car every day. So it was just, and the French teachers are very, very strict, so it's not like they want that you learn it in a perfect way, which is nice, and it's okay.
Right.
But I think it's important to understand that I'm not anymore 15 or 20. And for me, it's maybe a little bit harder. And for me, it's more like I should have fun to learn the language. So when I started learning Dutch, it was from the city hall, and those teachers, they understand, like you are, it's just to come along, like just to start and having fun. And this language I just picked, it's not that I'm fluent, not far at all, but at least I picked it up easier, and I was much more relaxed. And with French, it's a beautiful language, but they have so many rules.
Is there a lot of English speaking in Brussels?
Yes, a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's so international, so most of the people speak English.
That's what I was wondering. Okay. So we could go and probably communicate pretty well.
Especially here. No, and there's so many, normally so many tourists here too. And what I do, when I go to a shop or if I have to call, then I say, oh, do you speak English? So I just try, so, and they say, and they're so humble, the Belgians, they say, oh, a little bit, a little bit. But then at the end, they speak better than I am. So they're very humble. And I think that, I don't know why, but so they would never say, yes, of course I speak, so a little bit. And most of them speak really, really well. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk some more about Brussels. Is the chocolate really that good?
Pretty good, yes. I mean, it depends, like there are so many varieties and what you like, but
Hmm.
majority is really good. There may be a few brands, but it's a question of your own taste. Yeah, but they're really, really good ones. Really good ones.
We did look up a bunch of fun facts, so we might throw them in here and there and see if you know them or not. But one said that the Brussels airport is the largest selling chocolate. Like they sell the most chocolate in the world.
Okay, I cannot approve of this. I read about it, and I can, one hand, it's understandable because the people fly in and out, and then I have to buy something and I take something, like it makes sense. But then when I know Brussels, how many chocolate stores and praline stores they have, it's hard to believe that they sell more at the airport, but who knows, maybe it's true or not.
Right. I was thinking maybe it's like, oh, I forgot to get some when we were out. Let's grab it while we're
Yeah,
here.
right.
Or I already ate all the stuff I bought, so let me grab more for the way home. So how about the waffles?
Yes. So what I knew, there are two different waffles, the Liège ones and the Brussels ones. And I actually read just before our podcast here, they have apparently 10 different ones, which I didn't know about it.
Wow.
So in Brussels, when you go, they're very thick. It's a very thick dough. And I mean, but the amazing thing is, I mean, when you Google up, I'm sure there are lots of pictures in the net. So they put, of course, Nutella or powder sugar, but then they can put fruits and heavy cream. And I mean, I even don't know how people can eat this, but yeah, the people love the waffles. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I didn't see 10 when I looked it up. I saw the Liège and the Brussels or the Belgium style.
Yeah, that's
But I'd
good.
never heard of a liege waffle either, so that was kind of interesting. It sounded almost like a pancake meets a waffle.
Well, the one is a very thick dough, and the other one it's the same size. It looks different, but it's a very light version more, so it's more fluffy,
Right.
Ooh.
which I prefer. So I honestly don't like the heavy one, but like my daughter, she loves it. But
Right.
if one of these waffle, you know, I would be done for a few hours.
And I can only imagine like for tourists visiting, like when you're out walking all day, eating one of those big heavy waffles would probably just like weigh you down a little bit.
Yeah,
That's a
but that's
lot.
what you do, you know, like when you
Right.
hummus, of course, fried. It's the same as the French fries. I mean, they are so well known here, and I think that's a must. You know, you cannot
Right.
without trying the French fries, and they are really good.
And I didn't know that either. It said that French fries were actually created in Brussels,
Absolutely, yeah.
which I think is a fact that not a lot of people here know.
No, this is true because when you hear French fries, you think about
Right.
France.
France.
Who thinks about Belgium now? But they really declare, so they invented the French fries, and I don't know why they call it French fries, but what they do in a different way. So they fry them in two different oils. I think the same, maybe not the same oil, but it's the temperature is different. So they start with the one, they cool it down, and they fry it again. So that's
Extra
their
crispy.
yeah. So that's their secret. And now I have another secret for you to tell, which I just recently learned. And I tried it because I really so in north of Brussels we have Antwerp, so the second biggest city here. So a friend of mine told me about this place. There's even a Michelin French fry store, or it's not a restaurant. It's more. I mean, right now you can just go and buy it and you eat it on the street, but it's between a restaurant and a street brasserie. I don't know, but the fries are outstanding. I mean, to get a Michelin star for French fries, this is,
Right.
That is a big deal.
and I really drove there, so it's not so far to drive, 45 minutes. And they have a nice beef stew. Gosh, it was yummy. Yeah. And the Belgians, they really like on a Friday night, they go out. So they call it the friterie. So this is just a small thing where you buy fries and everything else is fries, sausages or whatever, chicken, so everything it's fried. So they call it the friterie, and they go and they on a Friday night you may go out for a pizzeria for pizza, so they go and buy fries, so in a huge container and with a lot of mayonnaise and different sauces, and it's evening dinner. Yeah, I found it quite interesting. Yeah.
It's fitting though
But
because fry, day, night, fry.
But
you're right.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's
love
probably
mayonnaise and fries.
yeah. So the Belgians love mayonnaise and they have all kinds of mayonnaise.
Oh,
oh, I did not know that.
that sounds good
I've
too.
never had mayonnaise and fries.
And like spicy one, and then it's like more an Asian style, then it's a Mexican style, and whatever. They have so different flavors, and you stand there and you have 20 bottles in front of you, and you have to decide. You have to make a choice.
Just one
Yeah.
of each.
That's my choice. One of each, please.
Yum.
Yeah, and the funny thing is actually when you buy so cone of fries, like a large portion, it's gigantic big, and it's not expensive. It's really not expensive. You pay almost as much for the sauce than for the fries, which is really good.
Wow.
Yeah. Like it's the Friday. I think it's also nice for a family because they all work, then the school is finished, the work is finished, and then it's a relaxing dinner. So it's easy to go, and we
Right.
go. It's Friday night, and yeah, it's actually nice. Yeah.
No one has to cook. We can all
Yeah.
relax, enjoy, celebrate the weekend.
And a beer.
Maybe you're
Or
right.
two. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and now since Saturday, the terraces have opened again. So not inside, but outside, we are allowed to
Right.
sit again. So it's a little life comes back.
I was gonna say just the
Right.
littlest bit, it just helps so much. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think we are all so eager to have a social life again, yeah, to go out. And but it was also nice, like last year with COVID, the lockdown, because normally when you go really downtown in Brussels, it's so busy, you know, it's always busy, thousands of people. And there suddenly you could walk around like the Grand Place on a Sunday morning. I did once a picture, it was empty. I never saw the Grand Place empty on a Sunday morning. It's impossible normally.
Right.
But this is also, it was quite nice to discover the busy city in a more quiet way.
Hmm.
I bet.
Yeah,
It's probably good for the city too. It's just like a breath of fresh air.
yeah, you're right.
The world needed it, I think. As much as it was hard for us, like I think it was good for the earth.
The earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you think, I mean, right now, when I see now a plane, you know, so, oh, there's a plane, you know. Normally you constantly see the planes coming or going out. It was actually, I think it was nice for the nature, for the environment.
Right.
Yeah. And for us too, it's just to live more in the moment.
That's right. Everybody needed a reset, like to take a step and realize what's important to everybody.
So this forest that you live by, is there like a lot of good hiking trails and stuff?
Here directly in Brussels, there's this Forrests year. So it's a really big forest where you can have beautiful trails. But when you go more to the east side of Belgium, so direction Luxembourg or Germany, it calls the Ardennes. So it's pretty hilly. It's not
Hmm.
like the big Alps, but it's pretty hilly. It's very green, and there you can find endless trails, hiking
Right.
trails, and mountain bikers, and yeah, it's really amazing. It's beautiful. Sometimes when you see pictures, you would not think you are in Belgium, but you are, you know. So, but it's with every country. There are always treasure places, you know, where what you have to discover. But if you want, you can really go hiking and discover the nature. Yeah.
I love hiking, and normally when I travel, I don't even think about finding nearby. But just hearing how close that all is, it would probably be totally doable to fit in like a day trip and do some hiking trails.
Yeah, and it's worthy to do it, you know. So I think it's always nice to discover a city, but also something to do outside of the city. Like when I lived in Paris, like our friends, they always came, you know, like one museum, you know, they were so busy, and I said, "Oh, guys, just sit in a cafe and observe the atmosphere, enjoy the, you know, like the moment, and don't rush from. You will never finish in 1 week. That's impossible." And then I took them sometimes even out for a day to the Monet Garden to Giverny. So it's an hour drive. It's so peaceful, you know, like it's in a totally different place. And they always said, "Oh, are you serious?" You know. So in the beginning, they were not so eager to follow me, but then at the end, they said, "Oh, wow, that was an amazing place," you know. And I think we have to come down.
Right.
Yeah,
And
but
that's going to
it's
be more enjoyable than like the super packed touristy, places too, is like the less crowded.
Yeah, and then also it depends how you like to visit a city. What I do now since a few years, I mean, I really like to visit cities, but if possible, if it's safe, I do really a bike tour, because then you discover the city in a different way
Hmm.
with the double deckers. But for me right now, it's with a bike. It's such a it's a it's an incredible way to discover a city. So it's you can maybe do a guided tour, you know, like in Berlin, you can do it, or in Amsterdam, it's easy. And then you see those places which you probably wouldn't see, and then you learn something from the city.
Do you guys have those bikes or scooters that you can like rent
Yeah,
and
yeah.
go on? Okay. I feel like every big city has those now. We have them here too.
I think, yeah. And you have those small scooters and the electric bikes now. So the electric scooters, so the bigger ones and the very small ones.
And then I'm sure you guys have them too, but what I did when I was like in London and Paris and stuff is the free walking tours. So you would meet up and it was like kind of you just tipped, so it didn't cost, but you would tip them at the end. But I learned a lot of like history and had some really good tour guides. I'm sure it depends on if you just get a good person or not, but luckily I was pretty lucky with some good tour guides, so that's something
Yeah.
too.
I mean, those tour guides are really amazing. I had the best ones in New York, actually,
Wow.
Manhattan. Um, but I think that's something really nice when you can just look up. And normally those guys, they do it by heart. I mean, they have so much passion for the city, for their, or if it's street art or whatever tour, or it's a beer tour, but they have such a great knowledge, and it's much more relaxed and fun. And yeah, and then you can tip. I think it's fair when you give them a certain amount what you can pay.
Right. And they know that the better they do, probably the better tips they're going to give, which I think is also why they give such a good tour. One of the girls I had was like in school to be an actress. And so I think she was trying to do her best just in case you never know who's going to be on one of your tours. So I think that's why she kind of went above and beyond. But we got a good tour out of it and she's getting a job out of it. So it worked.
Smart for her though, knowing where she's at.
Hmm. That
Knowing
one was
that
in
any
London. And I actually did a Harry Potter tour. That's what the tour.
Yeah, smart for her though, because anybody could be on there. So
Hmm.
kudos to her.
You get found by someone one day and there you go.
Yeah, especially with Harry Potter, but it's smart for her. It's also how she learns to communicate and to express herself, and as more the people react to her, I think then, yeah, I think this is.
Right.
What is the biggest like tourist attractions in Brussels? Like the palace that's behind me, the marketplace you said. I'm sure that's a big stop.
Well, it's what I see. It's not the palace. It's the Grand Place. It's the Grand
Okay.
Place. So that's a must see for sure. I mean, you cannot come to Brussels and not see the Grand Place. It's impossible.
Those buildings are gorgeous. Like just looking at the
Yeah,
architecture on them.
360 degrees. You see those buildings. And it's the old city hall too. So very close from this place, it's the Mannequin Piece. It's the Belgium symbol, the national symbol of Belgium or Brussels, I don't know. It's a small peeing guy. So you expect a gigantic statue, which is not, it's such a small, I don't know in inches, but it's really small.
Oh, really small.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's super small. And so he's peeing. But the cute thing is that they have a museum, so they make special clothes only for him. And on a special occasion, so they dress him up. So normally he's nude. But then on a special day, so that's maybe in Independence Day, he's dressed up in the United States, in your flag color, or I don't know, then it's maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's a whole museum, hundreds of different clothes, and yeah, and that's really cute, like you go there and you see all the people, so they are so excited to see Mannequin Beast. They come around the corner. Really, that small? Yeah. But you have to see it for sure. So that's really important.
I
Uh,
definitely want to go to that museum. That's so
yeah.
cool.
And then what is really nice too, it's the Atomium. It's this gigantic big monument what they built for a few years ago. Well, it's quite a few years ago. And they did it only for a special occasion, but right now I cannot recall for what, but they really liked it. So now you can still visit and see it, and it's really beautiful. In the night it sparks up, but it's just a little bit outside of Brussels, so you can reach it with the tram or with the double-decker bus, but it's not walking distance. Yeah. So, and the palace is only open in the summertime for 1 month. So there are two castles, so two palaces. So the one in the city, which is open in the summer, I think August, beginning of September, and the rest it's not open. So you
Oh,
cannot.
wow. I bet it gets so busy during that time then.
To be honest, I've never been there.
Well, I'm not surprised if it's only open a little bit of time.
Right.
because then you think, okay, I have to go, and then, then school started at this time, and then I just forgot about it. And I saw so many castles in my life, so I'm sure it's pretty, and I should have seen it maybe this year. Yeah, it's actually a good thing to do in September. But yeah, it's for me. But I think if you are there at this time, yes, I would say yes, go for it.
Right. Or if it's really important to you, try to plan your trip during that time of the year.
Yeah. And then also you can do beer tours, like that you do a special. I think that's something really fun to do, a beer tasting, because we are so well known here for the beer. I think you should do a beer tasting or beer tour with a guide. I think especially you girls.
I was gonna say, I think
You
that would be
know
the
us.
first. We'd probably do more than one if I'm being totally.
I think that's really something. I mean, you should do what they really offer for their food or for the drinks, and just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing if I'm trying something, especially new in another country, I want to just whatever they recommend, I want them to tell me what I should try.
Yeah, yeah. And what just popped up in my head, because I haven't been there so often, but it's from the European Commission. So they opened it's kind of a museum. So you go there, so it's free. And I think that's really interesting to go there. And I mean, you can spend there hours, you can read and audios and whatever. Of course, you cannot read everything or listen to it, but it's just to get a feeling for Europe. I think that's quite unique, nice. Yeah.
I know I love museums, but you definitely have to do some research and find that it's not going to be something you would see at every other museum, but that it's special for the place you're visiting. I think that's important.
Yeah, I think that's really something I would recommend. Yes, there are beautiful museums, and it depends what you like, and they have really nice Belgian artists too. But I think this the European Commission, I think that's something, yeah. And even if you go there only for 2 hours, that's fine too. It's enough. Just get a look at it, and the European quarter there with all those modern buildings. It's just amazing. It's just beautiful.
I'm just looking at my background again, just like the history, the old buildings. I think that's why I love where I've been in Europe so far, just because like our history here is not that old, whereas Europe has such old, rich history. And I just
Yeah.
really need COVID to figure it out and move on so I can get back over there.
Of course, you have to come, and then we drink a beer together or two.
Please. I
That's
was about to say
right.
that. You read my mind.
Yes.
Be a target guide here. No, really.
Yes.
I mean, as long as I'm here, please reach out. It would be so much fun.
We definitely
Oh, yeah, we definitely would. That'd be great. Thank you.
we have a little list of our guests that we just want to like go and travel and have a beer with all of our
Yeah.
guests. Yes.
And it's so nice just to when you meet someone, and it's maybe I'm not a perfect guide, but at least I can show you around, and there are some hidden places, and
Yeah.
it's much more relaxed. And yeah, and it's also for me a lot of fun too, so no, you're welcome.
So if you were to move and leave Brussels, what would you miss the most?
It's a very good question. It depends where I would move or where I will move, but the
Right.
international environment here, that's something what I really would miss or will miss. Yeah. And my beloved forest and park here. I know other places in the world have amazing parks and forests, but this forest gave me so much. I'm a runner, and I go out with my bike, but this forest gave me so much in the past 13 years. You have no idea. And I'm grateful anytime when I'm there. So especially now I have something to tell you again. Right now we are in the bluebell season. So it's south of Brussels is another big forest. So it's for me a half an hour to drive. But right now the whole forest is blue, millions of little blue flowers. You just want to jump in. It's like it's so gorgeous.
Wow.
It's just I took hundreds of pictures so far. Yeah.
Wow. We'll definitely have to get some of those. We'll use it
Yeah.
to promote.
It's only in April. I mean, this year it's quite long, the season, because it's rather chilly. So, but as soon it gets warm, then they die.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's something to think about for anyone coming to visit is if that's important to you, go in April.
Yeah, I think springtime can be really nice. Like last year, it was much warmer, much nicer, much more. So right now it's still chilly. Every season is nice. But in case you come in April and you are a nature lover, I think that's a super unique place to go.
Yeah. I want to
So,
see it.
I do too.
I think
What is your number one bucket list destination that you haven't been to yet?
That's a good
You've
one
been a
because
lot
you've
of
been so many
places.
places. It's list has got to be pretty small.
Right.
what I haven't seen yet so far. I say this, that's not really one. Oh, gosh, I have so many. This is really, no, but what I really miss is South America. I know that's not one country, not one city, not one location. But I just watched yesterday for hours of documentation about South America, and gosh, I need to go there. But now which country? So that's I need to think about it. Sorry, I cannot answer this question
I
because
will take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take South America.
yeah.
You've been to so many places, so we'll allow it.
Yeah, no, it's so difficult because I'm so open-minded, and yes, my list is immediately very long, but you choose
Right.
one.
See, she's been so many places, but she still wants to go so many places. So you fit
Right.
in with us perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
No,
And my number one now is Peru. So if you want to go, we can make this happen. We'll go
yeah,
to Peru. Let's do it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
She's still thinking.
No, it's just my mind just pops. Tuk, 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 tuk. It's just
Right. So
like
there's so many.
yeah.
Okay, what about top three? You got a top three then?
What I wanted to visit.
She's like, no, still don't have a top three. It's more like a top 10.
No, it's
It's just the whole South America.
Right.
not even like, okay, I just like last summer I thought I cannot travel at all, yeah, because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then beginning of July, or it was end of June, my friend called me and said, do you want to go with us to Croatia? And I said, what? Like, yes, it's on my list, Croatia. Of course I wanted to go, well, mainly sailing, because that's what you do in Croatia. So, but she's not a sailor. And she said, yeah, I go with my kids. Do you want to join? And I think 5 days later, we were on the plane and we flew to Croatia. So that was out of the blue, and I did it. So I'm quite spontaneous too. Yes, I have maybe my top 3 or my top 10 countries, but if I have the opportunity to travel in another country where I haven't been before, I wouldn't say no, even if it's not in my top 10.
Same.
And we had the best of a time. It was empty. Croatia was empty. I think it was.
Yeah, what a great time to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you go sailing?
Well, only for one day. So I took my sailing license with me, and I said at least one day I need to be in the water. Yes, we did. And one day it was a guided tour from a big wooden ship. Yeah, but it was nice too. Yeah, another time then I go sailing in Croatia.
Dang, you have your sailing's license? That's sweet.
I do.
Cool.
So you
Okay,
can take
so
us sailing.
yeah, I was just about to say that. So we're gonna go sailing when we come visit too then, right?
Yeah. Well, here, to be honest, I'm more a Mediterranean sailor or Caribbean, so where it's really warm, where I can jump in the water and swim. Here in Belgium, you can sail too, but that doesn't attract me at all, not at all. And even for diving, I only dive where it's really warm.
That makes sense.
I hate when it's cold. So
Well, then
I
we'll
can
come
understand
to
that.
Brussels and then we'll plan our Mediterranean sailing trip together.
There you
that's
go.
Yeah.
yes.
Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for doing this rescheduling with us. It was definitely worth it. We love talking to you.
Really nice to talk to you too. And you're in an amazing place because you talk to so many amazing people who travel, who love travel, and you love to travel. You can learn so many amazing things, and you share it with your audience. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely. And we'll have you on again. And we're going to have that beer in person as soon as we can.
I mean,
Yes.
I hope so. Really.
Thank you so much, Diana.
It's a pleasure. Take care and enjoy your beer.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again so much to Diana for joining us today. It was just such a pleasure. She's such a sweetheart, and we learned so much about Brussels.
I hope that we get to one day really take her up on her offer of coming and hanging out so she could be our personal tour guide and also planning that sailing trip. And if you guys want to follow her, I know she says she has a lot of her photos that she takes from being in the forest on her Instagram. Check her out. It's Artemis_captures, and that's on Instagram. Check her out.
And we will definitely tag her on all of our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
At Jet Set Hers Pod,
Also, remember to check out our website.
jetsethers.com.
And if you have any stories, you want to be a guest, you just want to say hi, send us an email.
jetsethers@gmail.com.
And we know you love us, so go on, give us a rate, give us a review.
You know what to do. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.